Jamie here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. December 3rd, 2024, 3:36 on this fine afternoon. Really quick rant. Not much to talk about, or at least for some of the positions I'm in. I'll talk about some of the markets, some of the things for the rest of the week and go from there. But take a look at the S&P. Another tight trading session. We opened at 603.39 on the SPY, tested 604.17, and we're trading here at 603.97. And the lower today is 602.34. So yesterday was 0.2%. We're right there, like 0.3% trading range. Just remarkable considering where we're at all-time highs or mostly all-time highs. The Dow is lower, so is small caps today, but the S&P and Nasdaq are in the green, at least for now. And we have 23 minutes to the close. Uh, 610 still looks on course here. The upper Bollinger Band is it 507? Excuse me, 607.81. So I guess it came down a little bit. Hopefully we get a decent day tomorrow, maybe three tenths of a percent or 0.5% to the upside, and that Bollinger Band will start spreading again. What happens when the volatility starts to slow down? We don't have the wide moves. It happens on any stock or what have you, but on the chart, as the volatility goes down, the Bollinger Bands come in, and that's why I always look at tight Bollinger Band setups, because that means it's low volatility, it's been consolidating, and then there's going to be some explosive move. All right, so that's the overall markets. I mean, take a look at the SPY 600. And then I think 610 comes before the week's out, pending any craziness. I still don't have a time for Powell tomorrow. I actually didn't look. I don't think it's going to move markets too much, but people will be talking about it today because there's not going to be much tomorrow. Jolts report this morning, almost as expected, and then we have the jobs report on Friday. So that's the overall market. Small caps spot. IWM is right at 240 as I'm talking right now. Just hopefully it just holds that, and then just need a little spark. You can see the pull. We had the election rally at the start of, after the election, huge move up in the small caps. I think it was a 10% move. And then we had that pullback, like it pretty much gave back half the gains, almost filled that gap. Then we rallied again, and now it looks like more consolidation. So hopefully holds 240, and then the next leg takes us up to 250 on the small caps before the year's out. Overall market. So individual names. So ROKU, it's been a nemesis as of late. I mean, there's been some profitable trades, but there's also been ones that looks like it's going to break out, and then it gives gains back, and then some. So yesterday, saw it breaking out on the positive comments from those analysts, Wedbush and I think it was Guggenheim. And then I was able to lock some in for nearly 200%. And then I put on the watch list this morning that if it couldn't hold and show that it's going to resume that uptrend, I was going to get out and at least protect the profit. So once it started breaking 76, I said, then probably, well, if it gets 75.50, I'll look to close them out. And I did for a small gain, but they were freebies. So I just locked the rest of the profits in, and the name I'll revisit. If you look at the chart too, I think there's going to be an $80 magnet. And I don't know if it's going to happen this week, but especially now with the premiums kind of eroded. It's just been chopping between 74.50 and 75.90 or so since 11 o'clock. Premiums have come out of the name, so could be one that I might revisit at some point to the end of the week if there's some kind of resumption to the uptrend, especially if it breaks that 80 handle too. So that's Roku. Peloton, I was posting before. Friday was 10:30, 10:39 it hit. Monday 10:31, and then today we hit 10:40. And actually, no, it was 10. I have to get the dates right. I think it's Friday, Monday, and today. Seems at 10:39 to 10:40 spot. It's like a huge block, like someone's just waiting there just to sell, and it's got to get cleared out. And it's already had 3 attempts here, and then unfortunately we're only up to 10:40 at about 1 o'clock, and we've given back 40 cents of the gains for today. So still solidly in the green. I would love to see it close above 10. Yeah, so maybe tomorrow just needs a kick. And once it gets through 10:40, I think there's gonna be another huge leg to the upside. So added some more strikes on Friday. I'll probably just hold on to those in my January 12s until there's more, whether it be another catalyst or a bigger move to the upside. Maybe it breaks 11. I think the spot, I have to go back and see what that was. I think it was $11 the next spot. All right. That's Peloton. And then some other names. So, Intuit, Tees. I almost grabbed the puts at the open. It was under 630. It looked like it was going to break down. Goes all the way down to 626. It's just hanging there. The market was kind of, I wouldn't say teetering, picking a direction. And then sure enough, it bounces, sells off back down to 632 at the noon hour, back up to 638. And then here it is at 636. So probably wasting a little more mental energy watching this thing. So, I'll continue to have it on watch. once that 632 breaks and holds maybe for longer than a 10-minute period time frame, then I'll finally get those puts to play for a move to the downside. Again, I was talking about it yesterday. I mean, I did more due diligence, but it's their consumer segment in regards to the tax software, and drives 20, 25, 28% of their revenues. Even if a little snafu of possible hit to their earnings and things like that, I think there's an opportunity for downside. All right, that's into it. Joby. So now here we have back-to-back days, and I don't have my other chart up here, but 775 was the key area with 772. Excuse me, we're at 782 right now. So if we hold that, we had just a little pull here about 3 o'clock, almost like it was a news drop or a big block hit, but decent volume because we were trading in the eights for most of the day. Still, I mean, if considering where I got in, I think I was in when the stock was in the sixes. I think it dropped into the fives for a little bit when I got my January 750s. So all things considered, it's still a healthy move from those levels. Of course, I would love to see it resume and head back over that 9 handle towards the end of the week. Still got a shot here. That's Joby. Not going to add anything else. Just going to continue to hold my strikes there. Teladoc. So they had their conference at 12:30. Piper Sandler. I actually jumped on, and the audio came on for the first like minute or so, and then it just cut out. It was like static, and I'm checking the audio. I'm like, is that me? And I'm like, no, that was definitely the webcast. And then I had scrolled around. All of a sudden, 2 minutes later, well, actually, it was like 5 minutes later, I hear audio again. And I'm like, oh, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's the conference. And then so I kind of tuned it out. It looks like a non-event here, but I don't know if there's going to be Piper's going to upgrade their stock tomorrow. Sometimes when you see these conferences, let's see here. Sorry. Sometimes when you see these conferences, you have analysts who host it come out with an updated note the next day. So maybe that could be a catalyst, hopefully, but that seems to be a non-event here. And there's Teladoc. I mean, it's down under $11. The key spot for Teladoc is that 200-day moving average, and it was trading over that. It hasn't traded over that for more than a day since whatever I put 4 years ago, 2021. And here it is. It's 1077 and it's traded over for 6 sessions in a row. Just eats a whole 1077, and I think it's set up for the next leg, and then possibly some FOMO. And then 2 other names here, and one is Fiverr. And Fiverr, it's been doing decent the last week and a half or so, and I think some of it has been some of these names have been left somewhat for dead. And then you look today, and it wasn't even like an analyst upgrade. It was, but UBS just kept their neutral rating and raised their price target from 32 to 31. And I mean, it was at $31, right? So I mean, it's 32 is like where it was trading, which I guess if you're a neutral rated analyst and you have a neutral rating in a stock, you think the stock is going to do nothing, right? So I guess that's a fair argument, but the stock is rallying today. And then you start looking, and the short interest, back when I used to really be extremely bullish to name, it was much lower, 12%, 15%. Now it's all the way up to 20% of the short of the float is held short, and the stock has moved higher. It's at I think it's multi-year highs here. So could be interesting. I'm starting to look. I'm like the 38 December strikes look interesting on a risk reward basis. If there's going to be some follow through here, and I've talked about before with Fiverr. I think a lot of folks don't understand the story. It's like similar to Peloton. And they look at Fiverr and say, "Wow, it's just a gig business. There's too much competition. There's no moat around their business." But I think they've gotten to the position now where they have a huge moat around their business, and some of that is you have content creators on your platform that use your ecosystem, right? So it's a vested interest for them to do well. So because of that, it makes Fiverr do well, and so on and so forth. So and they've updated their platform. They have just other things that they didn't have in the past. That they have an AI bot now, things like that helps assist people who are seeking content and other people who are looking to make for sellers, so for buyers. So anyway, rants for other days, but don't be surprised if I add some strikes. I'll probably wait for tomorrow to see how it does out of the gate. If it holds 34, so maybe I'll look for some strikes. That's Fiverr. And then TripAdvisor, and I've been doing the Trip. I've been eyeing Trip, and at some point I'll probably dip my toes in, not for any kind of intraday move or for a swing this week, but at some point there's going to be some resolution to what they're going to do in regards to strategic alternatives, whether that's going to be a buyout, a spinoff, and Liberty Group, Liberty, I forget the ticker, LB. They own a 22% stake in TripAdvisor. So some of the reason I guess the M&A was a little tough the first go around is because of that stake, but the fact that they're not buying back shares right now, you have to think something's lurking, and it's going to happen probably before the next earnings, right? Before the next earnings call. So I think there's a window of a couple more weeks where there might be some kind of news in the morning that there, could be some M&A or something. So don't be surprised if I add some spec calls, and it'll probably be into January because I just want to. I also, I'm talking about these back from the dead plays, and this is another name. I think it's down 37% year to date. So it could just melt up just because, right? That's that. Thanks. Yeah, Palantir, right? Palantir, however you pronounce it. Uh, I remember looking at that one back when it was like 20 some bucks, and everybody was so bullish to name, but it was such a huge market cap. And then you look at the revenues and the customers and the AI buzz. I'm like, wow, this thing, I think a lot of that was baked in. And then sure enough, you take a look, it's just been on a tear. It's almost like a cult stock. And now what do you have? BBAI. I used to think that was Build-A-Bear, right? I don't know what the Build-A-Bear ticker BBWI is that Build-A-Bear BBWI? No, that's Bed Bath and Body Works. Yeah, so every time I see BBAI, I see, and a lot of times you see people who trade more micro cap names, the names under $5 talking. I see in posts, I'm like, what is this? And you see some volatile moves, and then now they're talking at it's not Build a Bear, it's a baby PLTR is what BBAI is, but not a name I'll trade. I mean, I was looking today, it's already up to 30%. You have what the Financial Times saying it could be. I don't know. They have partnerships with PLTR. I don't know. That's that. I'm trying to think of some of these other names here. Of course, Teladoc just broke back under 11, hitting lows. Just don't test that 200-day moving average. I think that's it, folks. 12 minutes to the close. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio. Rock and roll.